Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everybody. I'm going to get right to it. We all work, at least most of us do. We all have a personal life on the other side. We're all trying to do the same thing, I'm going to use the word balance, but she's going to correct me on that. We'll get with that in a moment. Try to balance those two things out so that you get the work done, but you also have a fun, fulfilling personal life. But it seems like we're never able to do it. I don't know why. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's you, if it's even possible to do. We're going to learn about that today. And this, by the way, applies to anybody. If you're a high-achieving, successful CEO, a senior exec, C-suite individual, you just own a company, you work for somebody else, doesn't matter. You're working. Takes up a big chunk of your life. And that gets in the way of your personal life. So this, you got that stuff going on there. This is what she does, working with people to get this done. So we're going to learn deeper about it today. Dr. Mindy Gewirtz is on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing terrific. Thank you. And thank you for asking.
Looking forward to finding a way to get this done because it's a challenge for all of us. Even before we get into your little secret on this, tell us about your company, Collaborative Networks.
Well, Collaborative Networks International, we're based in the Metro New York area, and we're really a leadership and executive coaching firm. And we often do that in tandem with individual coaching and team coaching and leadership development coaching, and they all can go together in a package. So, for example, a leader may call me in to do executive coaching with someone, and then I'll say, well, Mindy, how about team coaching? Will you come in and do some top leadership team coaching? And I'll say, absolutely. And then afterwards, he might say, or she might say to me, okay, will you do some leadership development coaching for our people? So it might be a retreat. It might be a series of workshops for people at the top. And what we like to focus on, or where I call it the high-tech ecosystem. So it's high-tech, clean-tech, biotech, engineers and scientists, and the whole ecosystem around them, the professionals that really work with them together. So that's really our sweet spot. So I work with a lot of scientists, engineers, people in healthcare as well. And, well, we also do people in fashion, which is kind of fascinating, very different, and people in government. So it's municipal and federal as well.
Bottom line here, it's all about leadership because even your life, you're leading your life. There's leadership connected to that as well, right?
Absolutely. So no matter where you are or at whatever level, it's not just the people in the C-suite who are leaders. It's people. You could be a leader in your community. You are a leader in your family. So we are all called upon to lead. And we are all called upon in terms of our work life to figure out how we're going to do that. How are we going to, as you call it, balance? And I'll call it BS. Because we just can't. I've never met someone who says, oh, Mindy, I figured it out. I have perfect balance in my working life. It just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah. Because
life just throws us curveballs all the time.
It's a moving target.
Absolutely. So what was good for me when I had 5 kids is not good for me now when they flew the coop. Because it's a very different life for me now. And I think it's that way for a lot of people. Mm. And so in the research work that I've done and in my practice, what I've experienced over the years with hundreds of folks is something that I came up, my little secret.
I'm listening.
Okay.
We all are.
You press a button and I keep going. So
when you say secret, is it the secret to getting the most out of your work life, getting the most out of your personal life, and doing so without having a lot of stress and anxiety?
In some ways, absolutely. Because what we always are looking for if you're a mom and you're in the workplace and you left your young kids at home, you're always thinking about them. Did I do the right thing? Should I have waited longer than the 6 months? And at the same time, you have to go back to work. You don't have a nanny at home. You don't have a choice. So you're always thinking, how do I maximize this? Because I know I need to be able to do this. It's different than when your kids are teenagers and you're working till 6 p.m. at night. Then you have a different worry. What are they doing? Where are they going? Are really they doing their homework, or are they out with their friends? I should really be home for them and making sure that they're all right. So we always try to kind of look at how do we maximize both of them. But my little secret is a little bit different. What I've found is that, and a little bit on my own life too, is that if you can master this one secret, then you can figure it out, as you say, without all the stress. And that is what I call an adaptive work in life, or adaptive life work, depending on how you want to look at it. Because I believe that life comes first and work is in life. Here in the US, work is our life. Mm. And when we look at the different generations, and we look at the traditionalists, those who were in World War II, let's say, and they were in their 80s, 90s, work was their life, totally. When you look at their boomers, they kind of lived to work. And then later on were enjoying themselves. When you look at the Gen Xers, they had a totally different conception about that. They were interested in looking at life as the primary and wanting to do that not by working all the time, but by integrating their work and life coming first, and having the flexibility to be able to do that. So what I suggest is that when you have flexibility and adaptability and are able to do that, then what you have is an adaptive work in life that can really work, because at whatever stage, at whatever life throws at you, when you think about that adaptively, then you're going to be able to work it out.
Well, it seems like the game changer. And by the way, lost your video. Have video there. I don't see you on it. I don't know if you see that over there. It seems like the game changer came in the just past around 2010, 11, right around there, when Google changed the whole concept of work. Come to work, you have childcare, you have video games in the lobby you can play, you have a fitness center, you have everything you could ever want in terms of food. Just the mindset for work changed with that. And I want to say, younger generation, where from that point forward, we're not working hard anymore. Yes, we are the way we want to work hard. Would you say that that's, when we trace it back in terms of your studies, that right around a time where things started changing?
Well, I'm not sure I would give Google all the credit.
Oh, no. I was just an example.
Yeah.
It seems around that time frame, that's where things started changing, and we started looking at work differently. But it started with, those in their 20s, low 30s at Google.
Yeah. It started in the high-tech world. Because of a lot of the things that you do in the high-tech world doesn't require you to be sitting in the office, and you can do this work anywhere, and you can do it at any time. And hey, why not?
Yeah. I mean, it took COVID for the rest of us to be able to work from home, do Zoom videos, but they were already doing that well before.
What really made the big difference was the pandemic.
Yeah.
And that pandemic really gave everyone food for thought. Like, why can't we do this?
Right. Well, we were forced to at that time.
A video is not complying.
No, that's so odd. Well, you know why? Because your video is taking some time off. Your video your video needed a leadership adaptive moment, and it's taken some time off there. But all good. You sound great, so would love to dig deeper into what we're digging into here today. What happens with this adaptive mindset?
Well, the first thing I would say is that people who kind of live an adaptive work life, it's got to work for you. So that it's not about, Mindy has this great 4-part series of principles, and everybody's going to have the same principles. What it really is about, that everybody's got to create something that's customizable for themselves. However, there are certain things that we can figure out. So, for example, the next one is that what I found out from myself is that life gives you curveballs. So you think you got it all set up. What really happens is that when something goes wrong, you figure it out, everything is fine, and then all of a sudden something's terribly wrong, and you're like, oh my God, now what I do? The babysitter who was fabulous leaves, something happens in your life, and someone's sick. That's when we all get terribly stressed out. So what do we do at that point? So it's at that point that the adaptive mindset comes to play. And we have to begin to unlearn and then relearn. So our brains are very lazy. And what they like to do, or our brains like to do, is to capture what we know from before. And even when it doesn't work again and again, we still try it. So we have to unlearn what didn't work for us and say, okay, this is not working. I got to try something different. I've got to be adaptive. So very often I work with leaders. I say to them, look to your right, look to your left, look up, look down, and what viewpoint are you missing? Well, I can see what's behind me because I can't turn around like that. Okay. Well, if you turn your body around, can you see what's behind you? Yes. That's where the adaptive thinking comes in. You've got to be able to think differently. And that's where that adaptive mindset comes in. And it becomes intentional. Because if you're intentional about it, then all of a sudden you go, oh, I know what else I can do. And the other thing I think is that if you practice what I call mental flexibility, and that in one hand is this problem, in one hand is this solution, and then I say, okay, there's this solution, and now there's this solution, and it looks like one or the other. And I don't like either of them. So I have two bad choices here. And we get stuck with our two choices we don't want. Well, if that's the case, many of us just sit and obsess. Or they may be two good choices, but not good enough choices. And we obsess. What mental flexibility can help you with is to say, why only two choices? And I often do this with my leaders, and I say, okay, let's stop here for a moment and reflect. You can do anything. What other choices are there? Don't stop. Think other choices, no matter how crazy they are. Let's brainstorm for a minute. And very often they come up with a third choice that's way better than any of the two. And that's what we have to do in our adaptive lives, because everything is so changeable. and changing and dynamic and actually ambiguous. So, folks, I'm really here. I'm really with you.
Yeah, we don't see you on the video, but that's all good. We can hear you, and a lot of people listen just from the audio alone. I want to pick your brain, Mindy, on, I guess, call it my mindset. And I think it lies very closely to what you're describing. If you went back 5 years, for me, those little things that would come along, and life, it's inevitable. Change is happening.
Yep.
That's the way it is. When those little things would pop up, it would kind of, rock me a little bit. Oh, I can't believe that. Oh, how am I going to do with that? Meanwhile, there was really nothing going wrong. It was more of the, what if something goes even worse based on this little tiny thing? I got rid of all of that, and I pilot by this. Nothing surprises me anymore. It's just the way it is. Like, things could happen. Like, all right, just keep going over the, call them a little speed bump. They're not mountains. They're not molehill. There's a little speed bump. Keep going. That's it. Is that sort of the adaptive mindset that you're describing?
Yeah, you're giving your mindset space to be flexible, because you're saying to yourself, you know what? It's life. And because it's life, I can't predict it. I can't just expect to know and to worry about everything, because no matter how much I worry, it doesn't make a difference, because it's going to come anyway. So when it comes, let me put it in its right perspective. And the right perspective is, I got to deal with it because it's life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. And it's almost as if when you say perspective, I got a visual of a funnel. You got different funnels all set up in your mind, and something comes along, not going to rock you, but you got to do something. So, all right, that situation, I'm going to put it in this funnel and deal with it, in that time frame. That one's got to go in that one. I'm going to drop that in there and drop that one in there. Bottom line is, you can't control what you can't control. And I feel like we all want to control things, but it's out of our control. You can't.
Yep. One of the best things about what you're saying you're doing is that we have control when we let go of control.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to, that's so simple, but overlooked all the time. That simple phrase. Oh, you're muted. You're back. I see your video, but you're muted. Unmute, and then we're good.
We're good now.
And we're back.
That's the beauty of it, that when you let go of control is when, so listeners out there, let go of control, because that's the only way you will ever have control, because no matter how much you want, and listen to me, because I'm a control freak.
Are you really?
So I love controlling everything, because as a coach and trainer and former teacher, and I still have done some teaching in the graduate level, I like everything to be orderly. I like to know, and I have all my contingency plans. And then I have decided, you know what? You can contingency plan yourself to death, and always something different is going to happen. So if you have the mindset that whatever happens, happens, and you'll figure it out.
Yes, that's a key point, and that was my wake-up call. I can relate to all of this, where there are some times I'll wait to the last minute to take care of something, do something. I'm not being irresponsible. I'm not missing deadlines. I'm just moving forward, and then when I need to deal, because it could change. So why not wait? I might have to redo things. So, and I don't wait to the last minute so that it turns into freak mode, where it's like, oh, I gotta get on, run. No, there's some control in that, but I just find it's kind of fun every once in a while, And you know where this all came from? And I'm gonna share it because I think it's kind of elementary, but we don't realize it. I met somebody 4 years ago, and they said to me, "Why don't you ever live in the moment?" And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. You don't live in the moment. You're always thinking about the past. You're looking at the future. You're not enjoying like right here and now. It took me a while to process that. Once fully processed, probably took a year, like really, 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 really letting go. That was the game changer. That was it. Living in them, because right here, slice a second, it's beautiful. No problem. No issues. No worries. But we don't do that, many of us, right?
We don't do that at all. And that is a lot of where the stress comes from.
Exactly.
Because we don't live in the moment, because we're always obsessing about what happens in the past, then we get stuck there and we can't move forward. Or we're obsessing about what's going to happen in the future, and we're always planning for the future, but we never enjoy a moment right now. And that's what we find with a lot of our very achievement-oriented leaders. So everything is, and I'll do everything when I really reach this pinnacle. And by the time they reach that pinnacle, they've lost their family. And they've lost their children, because it's 20 years.
The proverbial rabbit hole, they went down deep into there, to the point where they can't even climb out of it because they're so deep in the muck of that whole situation. Wow.
And their children are saying, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to be an involved dad. And I want to be there for my family. I don't want to have, for some, it looks like lack of ambition, but it's not that at all. They are ambitious. So when people kind of say, Gen Z, they're lazy, they don't want, it's not true. Yes, there will always be lazy people, and there always was lazy people in any generation, but it's different.
Yes.
They are recognizing and they are valuing family in a very different way.
Yeah.
What they're saying is that the institution has to change to be able to do that. And institutions and many progressive institutions like Google are understanding that. But it's not just the perks that you can bring your dog to work. It's more about flexibility of place and time.
100%.
That's what people are asking for.
We're just about out of time. Definitely need to circle back on this and more. And thank you for saying that. It's not that those people are lazy and slackers. There are some that don't want to work. Okay, that's in this category here. But no, it's working smarter. That's really, I think, what it is. Mindy, how does somebody connect with you if they want to start a dialogue, maybe look at some coaching, even just talk about the adaptive concept?
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to talk more about it. You can always look at my website, collaborativenetworks.net, or reach me at Gewirtz at collaborativenetworks.net. I'm always happy to answer any questions that you might have. And you can also find me on ICF New Jersey on that website. We have 700 coaches on that website, and many of them are credentialed. I'm credentialed at the mastery level, but many are very good, and you can find them there as well. So it's been my pleasure talking with you in a half an hour. Just absolutely flew by. And I welcome you to look at any of my books. My latest book is co-authored with Marsha Bench, is Taking the Leap. You can find it on Amazon. And Steve, it's been such a pleasure to talk with you. I hope we can continue this conversation some other time.
I would love to. It's so important. And that's just one aspect of what you offer within your coaching. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm looking forward next time we get a chance to get together.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Jason Derulo. I love that music connects to people all over the country. But unfortunately, so does something else. Childhood hunger. 15 million kids struggle with hunger right here in America. And yet, every year, billions of pounds of surplus food in the U.S. go to waste instead of going to the children in need. Feeding America is working to change this. The Feeding America nationwide network of food banks rescues this surplus of food to help provide meals to families in virtually every community in the United States, including yours. But they just can't do this alone. Join me in the fight against hunger in America. For more information on what you can do to get involved, visit feedingamerica.org. That's feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America. A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.